The Belgian Malinois is celebrated for its obedience, discipline, and precision, but there is one instinct inside this dog that even elite special forces cannot fully control. This instinct is older than training, older than combat, and older than every command a human has ever created. Handlers describe it as a silent ignition, a moment when something ancient wakes up inside the Malinois. No command is needed, no signal is given, and no cue is obvious to the human eye. This instinct begins in the milliseconds between calm and danger, long before any soldier senses a shift in the atmosphere. The Malinois reads the world through micro-reactions: tension, breath, movement, and emotional pressure invisible to most humans. Soldiers say the dog reacts to the future, not the present, and moves before the threat becomes real. This predictive awareness has saved more lives than any piece of technology in the field. In high-pressure operations, a Malinois doesn't wait for instructions because hesitation can cost lives. The breed calculates thousands of sensory cues instantly, blending instinct with strategic action. Elite units praise the Malinois for its courage, but they respect it for this instinct that defies logic. It is the one part of the dog that training enhances but cannot replace. Scientists have tried to explain this phenomenon through genetics and evolutionary biology. Yet even they admit that the Malinois performs cognitive leaps that resemble intuition rather than simple reaction. This instinct developed long before the breed was shaped into a military partner. It came from generations of herding dogs that watched flocks, predicted danger, and protected life before a threat appeared. That ancient vigilance still lives inside the modern Malinois, strengthened, not suppressed, by training. The more structured the environment, the sharper the instinct becomes. Handlers learned long ago that you cannot command this instinct. You can only respect it, harness it, and learn to move with it. In the field, Malinois handlers are taught to watch the dog's silence more than its barking. A still dog often signals more than a dog in motion. Special forces units describe moments when their Malinois froze, looked into an empty alley, and alerted the team seconds before a hidden threat emerged. Those seconds have meant survival. The instinct is not driven by fear or adrenaline. It is driven by perception at a level humans rarely understand. Malinois read the world through scent layers, micro-movements, emotional tension, and environmental vibrations too subtle for human senses. In this way, they assemble a picture of danger before danger becomes visible. This is why soldiers say the dog reacts before the enemy acts. It feels the intention long before the action forms. During missions, handlers often notice their Malinois shifting weight from paw to paw, ears tightening, or nostrils adjusting. These tiny movements indicate the dog is processing something the human team cannot yet perceive. The instinct becomes most powerful in silence, not chaos. When the world is still, the Malinois becomes a sensor more precise than any piece of equipment. Some soldiers joke that the dog has a second brain, dedicated entirely to reading danger. In reality, it is a biological advantage built from centuries of work and refining. The Malinois brain is designed for both speed and depth. It processes information rapidly while storing emotional context, making the dog a living archive of everything it has seen and felt. This instinct becomes stronger with experience. The more missions a Malinois completes, the more accurate its anticipatory signals become. Handlers trust older Malinois not because they are calmer, but because their instincts are sharper. Time turns instinct into mastery. No soldier expects a dog to fully understand warfare, yet the Malinois behaves as if it knows the stakes. Its mind operates on patterns, tension, and unspoken cues that often escape even trained human awareness. When a Malinois shifts from relaxed to alert without warning, the entire team reacts. They have learned that ignoring the dog's instinct is a mistake rarely made twice. The instinct is not limited to danger. It also predicts emotional changes within the handler, reading stress, hesitation, or uncertainty long before the handler speaks. This emotional intelligence is why Malinois form unbreakable bonds with their partners. The dog learns the handler's patterns so deeply that it detects changes as subtly as a heartbeat. Special Forces trainers say the Malinois often knows how the handler feels before the handler does. This pre-awareness is not magic. It is biology refined to near perfection. In combat environments, adrenaline affects scent, body temperature, and tension. The Malinois senses each shift instantly. This instinct helps the dog decide when to evaluate, when to hold position, and when to act without waiting. In extreme situations, this instinct has saved handlers without being trained to do so. When soldiers report, "The dog dragged me out before the explosion," it is not luck. It is instinct fused to survival. This is why the Malinois is trusted more than machinery. Machines detect threats when conditions meet parameters. The Malinois detects intention before action. A soldier once described the Malinois as the only partner that sees danger in silence and acts before sound. This instinct has shaped the dog into a legend among elite units. The instinct becomes evident early in a Malinois puppy's life. Breeders often notice puppies watching doors, reacting to shadows, and tracking unseen movement. This hyper-awareness is not anxiety, it is focus. Even as puppies, Malinois evaluate the world with a seriousness uncommon in other breeds. As they grow, the instinct sharpens into something that resembles intelligence under pressure. The breed is capable of making decisions that align with human goals without being explicitly trained to do so. This is what distinguishes the Malinois from other working dogs. Obedience can be taught, but instinct cannot be created. Soldiers claim that during operations they often sense danger only because their Malinois sensed it first. The dog becomes an extension of the handler's awareness. This link is not accidental. It is the product of genetics, purpose, and evolution. The Malinois was shaped for work where prediction mattered as much as reaction. Handlers learn to watch the dog's eyes more than anything else. A single glance can indicate a full assessment of the environment. When a Malinois stares into the distance without moving, it is not distracted. It is processing layers of scent, sound, and tension the human team cannot detect. This deep awareness is why Malinois appear calm one moment and explosive the next. The instinct shifts them instantly into action mode. Soldiers describe the transition as a switch flipping, but the switch is not emotional. It is biological readiness activating without hesitation. This instinct shows when the Malinois takes position slightly ahead of the handler. The dog is not trying to lead, it is trying to shield. Protective instinct is different from aggression. For the Malinois, it is strategic rather than reactive. In tense environments, the dog calculates angles, exits, and shadows more quickly than humans. It creates an invisible map of safety around its team. When the dog blocks the handler with its body, it is not stubborn. It is positioning itself where danger will arrive first. Special Forces trainers say you cannot teach this response. You can only build trust so the dog uses its instinct for the team's benefit. This instinct has caused some to say the Malinois has combat intuition, but intuition is simply instinct with experience layered over time. Even during non-combat missions, the Malinois scans constantly. Its mind never turns off. This is why living with a Malinois at home feels different from any other breed. The same instinct that saves lives in the field remains active in everyday life. Owners often describe moments when their Malinois stares into a hallway before anyone arrives. The dog senses footsteps, scent trails, and energy long before humans notice movement. This predictive ability can feel supernatural, but it is grounded in biology that has been sharpened for hundreds of years. Special Forces appreciate this instinct because it makes the Malinois adaptable. The dog reads the environment rather than waiting for commands. This independence can be overwhelming for inexperienced handlers. The Malinois does not wait for permission when it senses danger. This is why even soldiers cannot fully control the instinct. They can guide it, shape it, and rely on it, but they cannot suppress it. The instinct is tied to the Malinois' deep desire to protect. This desire is not based on training, but on emotional bonding. Once a Malinois commits to a handler, its instinct becomes aligned with that person's safety above all else. No command overrides that bond. This protective instinct makes the dog fearless in the face of threats. It will move into danger without hesitation. Soldiers often say the Malinois chooses to protect before any training takes place. The instinct lives at the core of the breed. Even advanced training cannot remove or weaken this instinct. It only refines how the instinct is used. This is why the Malinois is unmatched in elite operations. It blends instinct, intelligence, and emotion into a single force. Handlers rely on this instinct during missions because it acts when humans doubt. While humans analyze, the dog commits. This commitment is not blind bravery. It is calculated survival intelligence. The Malinois understands danger in a way that is difficult for humans to comprehend. Even with years of experience, handlers admit the dog still surprises them. It reacts to signals only dogs can perceive. This unpredictability is not a flaw. It is the breed's greatest strength. The instinct is what makes the Malinois extraordinary, but it also makes the dog demanding at home. Owners must understand that this breed's mind never truly rests. A Malinois cannot turn off vigilance. It navigates the world as a protector, even in peaceful environments. Special forces love this trait because it makes the dog dependable. Civilians struggle with it because they misunderstand it. This instinct explains why the Malinois can read emotional energy so clearly. The dog senses frustration, fear, excitement, and anxiety with incredible precision. Handlers rely on this emotional sensitivity. It helps the dog stay synchronized with the team under pressure. No machine can replicate this blend of instinct and emotion. No robot can predict intention with the same accuracy. This instinct is why the Malinois remains irreplaceable in special forces teams. Technology evolves, but the dog's biological advantage has no equal. Soldiers respect the instinct because it is both powerful and humbling. It reminds them that some abilities cannot be trained. They are born from nature. The Malinois carries a legacy of purpose that modern missions only amplify. Its instinct turns perception into action and awareness into protection. This is why even elite soldiers cannot fully control it, they can only follow it. And in the field, following the Malinois instinct has saved more lives than any weapon, command, or system humans have ever built. The deeper a Malinois bonds with its handler, the stronger this instinct becomes. Experience does not weaken it. It sharpens it into something almost prophetic. Handlers say the dog begins to predict their decisions based on breath, speed of movement, and emotional tone. This is not training. It is connection rooted in survival. When soldiers describe a Malinois as my shadow, they are not speaking in metaphor. The dog studies the handler so intensely that their patterns become intertwined. This is why losing a handler can break a Malinois in ways few people understand. The instinct does not simply shut off. It continues searching for the person it was wired to protect. In the field, this bond becomes a tactical advantage. The dog needs fewer cues, fewer corrections, and fewer commands because it already knows what the handler will do next. Special Forces trainers say the best Malinois teams move like a single organism. The handler's thoughts become direction, and the dog's instinct becomes execution. This instinct is also why Malinois return from missions emotionally different. They carry memory, pressure, and responsibility in ways that resemble human soldiers. Handlers have noted moments when their Malinois sits quietly after an operation, scanning the world with a deeper caution. These are not signs of stress, they are signs of profound awareness. The dog is processing the mission, the environment, and the emotions it absorbed from the team. This level of sensitivity is rare in the canine world. A Malinois does not just react to danger, it absorbs the emotional landscape of the battlefield. It feels fear, tension, urgency, and relief without being taught what those emotions mean. This emotional instinct makes the breed powerful, but it also makes it vulnerable. The same mind that protects can become overwhelmed if not guided with understanding. This is why Malinois training is as much about emotional management as obedience. Soldiers learn to create structure and calm so the dog can operate with clarity under pressure. The instinct becomes even more intense in high-stakes missions where silence is critical. In moments of stillness, the Malinois becomes a sentinel much more advanced than machinery. The dog's ears move in micro-adjustments, scanning layers of sound. Its nose filters scent trails from hours earlier, building an invisible map of movement. This sensory intelligence combines with instinct to create predictions no human can make. Soldiers rely on these predictions because they are rarely wrong. When a Malinois suddenly stops and blocks the handler, the team pays attention. They know the dog has sensed something beyond human perception. This instinct saves lives not because the dog is fearless, but because it understands danger more accurately than any piece of equipment. It reads intention, pressure, and motion as one combined signal. Special Forces units have documented situations where the Malinois detected hidden enemies through walls, debris, or natural camouflage. Science cannot fully explain these moments, and soldiers do not question them. They simply trust the dog, and trust is the foundation of every successful mission. This instinct is so deeply rooted that even elite handlers cannot override it in certain moments. A Malinois will act to protect its team even if a command says otherwise. This is not disobedience. It is loyalty expressed through survival intelligence. The dog prioritizes life above instruction. Handlers learn to move with the instinct rather than against it. They recognize that the dog's decisions are often based on information no human can access. The instinct also makes the Malinois incredibly responsive to body language. A single step, shift in posture, or drop in tone can change the dog's entire state. The Malinois senses emotional instability instantly. It knows when the handler is afraid before the handler admits it. This awareness creates a feedback loop between human and dog. In tense environments, the Malinois becomes the emotional anchor of the team. Some soldiers claim their Malinois kept them steady when fear threatened to break their focus. These stories are not exaggerations. They are proof of the instinct's depth. The Malinois does not just protect physically, it protects psychologically. Handlers returning from missions often speak about how their dog sensed emotional fatigue months before they recognized it. This is instinct sharpened through connection, not training. A Malinois does not forget trauma around its team. It mirrors emotional weight and absorbs stress like a living shield. Yet despite this burden, the breed continues to serve with unwavering commitment. This is the character of the Malinois, strength fused with sensitivity. At home, the instinct changes shape but never weakens. The dog continues scanning windows, hallways, and doorways long after its service ends. Owners who have never seen combat are often surprised by this vigilance. They misinterpret it as anxiety when it is simply the Malinois being itself. The same instinct that protected soldiers will protect families. The dog evaluates household movement with the same seriousness it applied in the field. Parents are often shocked by how closely a Malinois monitors children. The instinct to guard the vulnerable is as natural as breathing. This protective nature is why the Malinois is misunderstood by inexperienced owners. They see energy without understanding purpose. The dog is not hyperactive. It is alert. It is not stubborn. It is strategic. This instinct makes the Malinois exceptional, but also demanding. It requires leadership, structure, and emotional clarity. Without these, the instinct can turn inward and create frustration. With the right guidance, it becomes one of the breed's greatest gifts. Special Forces trainers teach handlers to respect the instinct rather than fight it. Suppression leads to conflict. Understanding leads to partnership. This philosophy translates directly into civilian life. A Malinois owner must understand the dog's mind, not just its body. The instinct also explains why the Malinois excels in protection work. It does not learn to protect, it is born to protect. Training simply aligns instinct with structure. Freedom without purpose creates chaos, but purpose guided by trust creates mastery. This instinct is why the Malinois responds to threats with precision instead of panic. It analyzes before it acts, even in a split second. The breed does not chase danger for adrenaline. It steps into danger to restore safety. This difference defines the Malinois among working dogs. Handlers know this instinct makes the dog unpredictable in the best way. It sees solutions humans never consider. This is why Special Forces choose the Malinois over larger or stronger breeds. Intelligence and instinct outperform muscle every time. This instinct also creates a remarkable emotional memory. A Malinois remembers patterns, environments, and people long after leaving them. It can sense when something familiar becomes dangerous. This memory fuels anticipation and shapes how the dog interprets new situations. This predictive awareness has been measured in controlled studies. Malinois consistently outperform other working breeds in reading human intention. Even when commands are unclear, the Malinois interprets the handler's goal. It adapts instantly to the mission's emotional rhythm. This adaptability is crucial in unpredictable environments. A dog that waits for permission cannot save lives. A dog that predicts can. The instinct becomes a compass pointing towards safety, loyalty, and purpose. It makes the Malinois an equal partner rather than a follower. Soldiers often say the dog chooses the team over itself. This is instinct fused with identity. The Malinois does not fear danger because its instinct for protection overrides hesitation. Courage is not taught, it is inherited. This courage becomes contagious within the team. Humans draw strength from the dog that stands unwavering beside them. Handlers admit that in moments of doubt, the Malinois moved first. That movement often shifted the entire team's mindset. The instinct leads, and humans follow. This is the power of trust in its purest form. Even after retirement, the Malinois carries this instinct deeply. It watches over the home with the same seriousness it once applied to battlefields. It walks slightly ahead, checks dark corners, and listens to sounds no one else hears. It remains a guardian, even without a mission. This is why owning a Malinois is not simply a responsibility, it is a partnership. The dog gives everything, expecting leadership and purpose in return. Special forces understand this better than anyone. They know the instinct inside the Malinois cannot be controlled, only honored. The instinct is both ancient and modern, primal and refined. It is a force that no soldier, trainer, or handler can fully command. And that is exactly why the Malinois is irreplaceable. Its instinct fills the space between danger and protection, where no human or machine can stand. This instinct has shaped legends, saved lives, and forged bonds deeper than explanation. It is the silent language of survival. And in the heart of every Malinois, this instinct burns with a clarity that even special forces cannot control. Only trust.